Welcome to DBL. It's Tuesday, February 18th. I'm here with Brandon and Stephanie. I'm Jeff. Erica is off on assignment in California.
Very nice.
Excited for what she's doing.
Oh, yes. Can't wait.
Mom is the word. All right, guys. We begin with a serious story. Talk show host Wendy Williams made another joke nobody thought was funny again. She was talking about Drew Carey's ex, who was thrown off a third-story balcony and killed over the weekend. Let's take a look.
She was killed not by Drew, but by the ex. Come on down.
And last month, she made fun of Joaquin Phoenix's scar on his lip, and then she later apologized for that as well. And last week, Wendy told gay guys to stop wearing skirts and heels. She said sorry for that too. So basically, the question I'm asking here is there a pattern forming here?
No. This is what Wendy Williams is known for, especially in the hip-hop community, because before she came mainstream, she was talking about rappers and everything that they had going on in their life. I don't know why everyone is so upset with her all of a sudden. Be mad at the network because someone is cashing in on her mishaps and how she is. So it's like in football, when you see a football player keep getting in trouble, keep getting Antonio Brown, trouble, keep getting in trouble. But the boy can ball. The boy can play football. She's bringing in ratings. I know women that did DVR her show and go straight home and watch her. So she's bringing in ratings. Don't go at her. You can be like, oh, you're a bad person. Okay, whatever. But that's on the network because they're making money off of her misery.
You make a good point. You make a good point, but I just don't want to condone somebody for insulting people for ratings. You know what I mean? If you do it once and you apologize and you learn from that, I get that. But if you're stepping in it week after week, month after month, I mean, in this society we live in right now with this call-out culture, if I say something wrong, I'm not as big as Wendy Williams. I'm gone.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the perception and the feeling of everyone, especially on our panel and lots of different TV shows. You will lose your job. I think with Wendy, she is known for her outrageous comments. Women, men, everyone love tuning into her because, you know, she is that sass. She is that kind of outrageous opinion that shocks you. But like Brandon said, the thing is, she'll know the topics of the day and she'll have a rough idea of what she wants to say. She might not run every single idea by her producers or every single comment because, let's be honest, that's kind of like what I do with What Up Wednesday and Fashion Fix Friday. And I poke a bit of fun and I might say things that are a little bit, touch and go. But I think the minute you're laughing at someone's death and murder, that's really never okay. And I think she will have known that before she's gone on and done that piece. And I think you could hear it in the room. It was literally, you could have heard a pin drop in that moment. And I think at that moment, she should have said, you know what, too far. I'm sorry, like instantly, she should have known that. And I think, obviously, fame and money is wonderful, but I think the minute that you're like really, really hurting people and families, and when someone's been killed, you've gone way too far.
Jeff, the producer in me is back, and I want to ask you the question. You're the network head. This has been her third thing in the last couple weeks, but the ratings are through the roof. What do you do?
I don't know if I have a producer in me yet. But
no, you're the network head. Get that.
I'm the network head. I don't know. I don't know if I could have that on my network. Okay, I would say
they're never going to get rid of her. They're never going to get rid of her. They're never going to get rid of her. I think they should make an example.
Listen, because if you don't, as a network, now my job is on the line. If I'm the network head and I don't get rid of Wendy Williams, now my job is on the line. Why didn't you get rid of Wendy Williams? She did it 3 times in a row. It's on you now. It's not on Wendy anymore.
But
she's their cash cow, and that's what I mean. Like they've let her get away with it, or let her say those things, whether it was produced or whether it was off the cuff. They've allowed that to happen, and I think what they maybe should have done is they maybe should have said, you know, this has gone on too much. You're going to have to do an apology, or you know what, you're going to have to be replaced for a week. And then we're saying like, Wendy's really sorry for what she said. She's going to take some time out, whatever it is. They have to make an example of something, but like you said, it's gone on and on and on.
And kind of like this segment.
But it's good. It's good to talk about because, I mean, we're moving on, but I'm glad we got to have that conversation. And
it was a good convo.
We need to talk about you seeing into the future about your network head.
I am reading Bob Iger's book, just saying. It's fantastic. He's the head of Disney, if you guys don't know. It is fantastic. All right, guys, for the first time, Ben Affleck is opening up about his sobriety and how it impacted his career. He tells the New York Times, quote, I drank normally for a long time. What happened was that I started drinking more and more when my marriage was falling apart. My drinking, of course, created more marital problems. You may remember him and Jennifer Garner divorced in 2018. Ben says their divorce is one of the biggest regrets of his life. Meanwhile, Ben is doing press for his new movie, The Way Back. His character also struggles with alcoholism. Let's take a look.
How much are you
I heard you're coaching basketball.
Yeah, keeps me busy, keeps my mind off other things, you know.
Once you settle down, baby, you love is been.
I spend a lot of time hurting myself.
Heavenly Father,
I made a lot of bad decisions.
don't carry other names.
I think he's got, you know, this is a really important role for him.
Close to home.
It's very close to home. It mimics a lot of his own life. And I think what's a bigger thing for him is, obviously we've seen his career, let's be honest, take a nosedive. Why is that? Because of his alcoholism, because of what's happened with Jen, his beautiful, lovely wife and mother of his 3 children. So he needs this to work. He needs women and mums at home to look at this and see some form of reform or change or how sorry he is. Otherwise, this may be one of the last movies we see from him.
I think, you know, he's been struggling with this, and that's okay. Everyone struggles with something. He's been open about it, and I think he's been trying, to his credit.
Yeah, because it's alcoholism.
Right.
We've seen
It's a
that
disease.
before in Hollywood. And he was talking about in this New York Times article how guys like Bradley Cooper, Robert Downey Jr. have been so supportive of him throughout this journey. But this is going to be a comeback for him. If it's not this movie, he's got 4 coming out this year, 1 with Matt Damon, and he's also directing a film. Well, guess who is the producer on it? That's already signed on.
Brandon London?
Martin Scorsese. No, I'm not there yet.
All right.
I got to read Bob
Martin Scorsese?
Martin Scorsese is on, is already signed on. So I believe this is going to be part of his comeback tour. You know, so
I think it's very cleverly done.
Yeah.
Because you got to think about the storyline and how close it hits to home. And this is what I mean. He needs everyone at home, the people going to see this movie, the people that are basically paying his bills, to believe in him again. And I think that's why.
Yeah.
So speaking of close to home, can we announce a little,
who's going to
little
see it?
teaser?
Let's do it. Yeah, absolutely. Because I am going to be headed to New York to watch the screening of this and interview cast and crew, Ben Affleck included. So I can't wait to sit down with him, ask him these questions about not only this comeback, but just the journey it's taken to get back to this road. You know, I wish Erica Cobb was here because she talks about that comeback all the time. And what she say? You get the comeback that you've earned or you deserve. And I think that this is something that he's going to earn and deserve. He'll be back on top.
Pun intended, this is way back.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of you, buddy. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Thank you, DBL.
Fist pump.
Brandon London representing DBL in New York. I love it. Dwyane Wade is opening up about his transgender daughter, Zaya. Let's take a look.
She was the one who sat down with us as a family and said, hey, I don't think I'm gay. And she went down the list and said, you know, this is how I identify myself. This is my gender identity, right? I identify myself as a young lady.
And he and his wife, Gabrielle Union, struggled with Zaya's gender identity at first and talked about what it was like for him as a former athlete to deal with it. Let's take a look.
I knew early on that I had to check myself. That's what I knew. I knew early on that I had to ask myself questions, right? I've been a person in the locker room that has been a part of the conversation that have said the wrong phrases and the wrong words myself. And as I got older and as I watched my daughter grow, I had to go and look at myself in the mirror.
Wow.
And I've been praising, we all have been praising Dwyane and Gabrielle for this. Because listen, this is the truth. If you have a son for 12 years and all of a sudden that son now wants to become your daughter, it's a move. You have to deal with it too, okay? As a parent, you have to struggle with that. You have to do that. I'm not saying it's wrong, but as a parent, you're going to struggle too. You guys are both going to go through changes, is what I'm trying to say. And I commend Dwyane Wade for saying this as an athlete. I commend what he's saying. What he said in the past was not right, because I think we're all learning. I think we're all learning about LGBTQ. At least I am. I'll be honest with you guys. And I feel sometimes uncomfortable asking questions, and I feel like Dwyane Wade is making it comfortable to ask those questions.
I think he's definitely opening the door for it, for sure. But I think also in this particular situation, just with any parent anywhere in the world, famous or not famous, that is in this situation, like you said, for 12 years, they had a son, and he's actually mourning that son because now, obviously, they've still got a beautiful child, and he is now a she, and that's great, and that's wonderful. And I'm really pleased that they're being so open and upfront and teaching so many of us what to do. But at the same time, as parents, that is a mourning process because they're saying goodbye to something that they've loved for so long, and now they've evolved, like, into a butterfly.
Yeah, and I think that's okay. I think that's okay.
It is, and I want to give D-Wade, I want to give you props, man, because that moment where you talked about you had to look in the mirror and check yourself, I've also had to look in the mirror and check myself. From my former professional athlete days were some of the things that were coming out of my mouth when it came to people of the LGBTQ community. You know, things like we grew up and we would tell somebody, don't do that, that's gay. That's derogatory. We would call people the F words. And we even had playing football in the front yard growing up. We had the game called Smear the Queer.
Well,
you know, you can't call it that anymore.
You even did that when your sister was gay.
But when my sister came out, and you really get to see the things that she really has to go through and some of the things that people say. Now, it takes a lot of courage to go back to one of your teammates and be like, hey, man, don't say that.
Right.
Well, you just said that last year and you were joking. Hey, man, don't say that. But it has to hit home for a lot of people first, and it hit home to me. Now I'm open, and I'm trying to learn. And I ask her all the time when we have these stories, well, which pronoun should I use for this? Which pronoun? Because you're trying to be respectful at the same time. So, D-Wade, shout out to you. You know, congratulations to your daughter that just came out, and it's just something that we all are going to have to learn. It's a learning process.
And thanks for being honest, man, because I'll take part in that too. I was part of that too, but I think you're right. I think it's something that happens in your life, or I think you hit a certain age where you grow and you look back at things and you realize they were mean or someone was offended by that. Yeah. And that's okay. I think it takes a big man to say that. So thank you for saying that, especially your sister being who she is.
Yeah. Love you, Kristen.
Brandon London, growing up before
I know.
Now he's off to New York.
Now he's off to New York with Ben Affleck. I mean, look at him. He's blossomed into a butterfly.
I will remember the little people. Don't worry. I will remember the little
Thanks, buddy. DBL is live. Coming up, Hollywood veteran Matthew Modine and Niles Fitch from This Is Us sit down with Tori Shulman and talk all about their new movie, Miss Virginia.
This isn't a liner. Well, our liners take teeth like these and transform them into those.
Yeah, they're my second one. No, they're my first one. Well, they're okay.
You remember that though?
All right, so we didn't get to a couple stories. We're going to do one about Al Pacino and the B Block. I have a funny story about, but this one we're not going to get to. Did you hear this new show? It's a Bachelor spinoff.
Right.
Did you hear this yet?
No.
It's called Listen to Your Heart. Okay.
Oh, I think I've seen it on Netflix.
No, it's the new. It's on ABC, I believe.
Oh, there's something else I saw on Netflix. Same similar name.
I believe it. Don't quote me, but I believe if it's a Bachelor spinoff, I'm guessing it's on ABC. So 20 men, 20 women who are all musicians find love by competing through musical challenges to stay on the show.
That's crazy.
So they have to have challenges. So it's going to be like a Bachelor. I guess JoJo's involved, and Jordan. Man, I just want to say Rogers. I always want to say Aaron's little brother.
He does ESPN. He does color commentary for ESPN
because of The Bachelor.
Well. Hey man, will you accept this rose? I'll jump on there. I don't care.
Oh, now we're back to that, huh?
Nah, it's just.
I think you should be on The Bachelor.
I think you'd make a good Bachelor.
Your career's already on its way.
It's too cheesy, you know.
You can pull out the cheese.
But if you give me something, if we can pull the cheese out, because.
If we were talking about cheese, Brandon would be blue. He's that mature.
Is that like
blue cheese?
Oh, blue cheese.
Oh, that was a good one. At first I was like, what?
I tried.
Oh, we're not doing DBL Take?
Okay.
Oh, DBL Take's gone.
Yeah, I would want something more tasteful, though. You know, more on brand for the culture, the athlete. You know what I mean? Because it's something where it's, I'm making out with 16 girls. Like, come on now. That's
Brandon.
That's old Brandon. That's before we did today's story, Brandon. No, but you know what I mean? Like, how are you supposed to find love and you're out here like?
Yeah, but
16?
maybe you're not the Bachelor. Maybe you're just one of the dudes, trying to get that girl's love.
One of the Bachelorette dudes compete? Oh, absolutely no.
But see, I think you'd be more driven if that was the case.
But that means I have to be in a house with 16 dudes and dudes are acting real corny and stuff. Dude.
Welcome back to DBL. Was Al Pacino just too old and cheap for his girlfriend? Uh-oh. They were dating about 2 years, but reportedly have broken up She's 40, he's 79. She told an Israeli magazine it's, quote, hard to be with a man so old. Wow. She also said Al's kind of stingy and only bought her flowers.
Okay, so in her defense, I don't think there's anything wrong with dating someone that is 40 years older. If you love someone, you love someone, and that's absolutely fine.
But how about after you break up saying he didn't buy me anything just because he's Al Pacino?
I mean, okay, so that's one thing that I don't like about the story. So I'm not gonna lie, if I was dating for someone for 2 years and all I got was flowers, I'd be a bit miffed off.
You should be miffed off.
I'm not expecting like a Rolls Royce or like a house or like an engagement ring or anything like that.
If you've been dating
I'm not expecting that.
If you're dating a sugar daddy and all you get is flowers, that means something's wrong with you. It
doesn't matter if he's a sugar daddy or not, because maybe she actually loved him and maybe now she's bitter because
she actually loved him.
Who knows? We don't know that.
She actually loved him. Come on now.
You don't know that. We don't know that.
If you loved him, you wouldn't.
But then I think it's bad. I think a lady never like kisses and tells, and like she shouldn't have been bashing him.
Well, that's
what I don't like. I don't like that part of it. I'm like, oh, she shouldn't have really been bashing him.
Right.
And she could have just said there was an age difference.
I can't get a word in on it.
No, because
why are you sticking up for her?
Because the minute we heard it, you guys were like, oh, she's a gold digger. She's a gold digger. Well, how about he got his end of the bargain too, because she's half his age. I'm sure he's not complaining when he wakes up every day next to a young thing, is he?
Good. And all he had to do was
let's be honest, it works both ways, doesn't it?
And all he had to do was give her some flowers for that. There's a lot of sugar daddies that buy Porsches and do
But maybe they actually liked each other, and maybe she was like, you know what, dating someone this much older than me is no longer working for me.
She's 43 years old. She's not a real spring chicken herself.
Do you want to hear a quick Al Pacino story?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to break this up. We were in LA, me and my wife, when we lived there. And so we were getting out of Coffee Bean, and I saw over my shoulder, I'm like, that's Al Pacino, like getting in that white Range Rover. Yeah. And we got in our car, and she's like, what do you want to do? I'm like, follow him. So
no!
So we followed for 2 blocks, and my wife goes, what should I do? I go, I don't know. What are we going to do when he gets out? And she's like, I don't know. I'm like, all right, turn around. Let's get out of here. Because I was like, what? I just got so excited. I'm like, that's Al Pacino.
Oh my gosh.
And then I bailed. Not a good idea to chase a celebrity.
That's hilarious.
I don't know why I did that. We'll be right back.
This February.
There's a lot of misinformation circulating on social media, and our mission with Verify is to get you the facts without all the spin. So lots of people on social media were confused to see the president's limo taking a pre-race lap at the Daytona 500. Some blasted him for possibly wasting taxpayer money. Others criticized him for using federal resources while campaigning. So we're verifying, was the president's NASCAR appearance a campaign stop, and who's paying for it? So both questions go hands in hand. So to understand who pays for what when the president travels, the White House evaluates and determines if a trip is official, political, or campaign related. The Federal Election Commission broke it down to us like this. Official presidential trips are paid for by the U.S. government, aka taxpayers, you and me. Political activities are paid for by the National Party Committee, in this case, the Republican National Committee. And campaign expenses are paid for by President Trump's campaign. Now, to find out if the Daytona 500 was a campaign stop, our Verify researchers contacted the White House and Trump's campaign, and they both confirmed that Daytona was an official event. We checked, and it wasn't listed anywhere on his campaign website. In a statement on Friday, Florida Representative Michael Waltz said he personally invited President Trump, who served as Grand Marshal of the race. Now, because the White House had determined the event was part of President Trump's official duties, the costs associated with it will be covered by the U.S. government. So we can verify, no, the trip to Daytona was not a campaign stop. It was, in fact, an official event. There's a lot of misinformation circulating on social media, and our mission with Verify is to get you the facts without all the spin. So lots of people on social media were confused to see the president's limo taking a pre-race lap at the Daytona 500. Some blasted him for possibly wasting taxpayer money. Others criticized him for using federal resources while campaigning. So we're verifying, was the president's NASCAR appearance a campaign stop?
Today's Sandals word of the day is mermaid.
Welcome back to DBL, action, horror, drama. Sometimes you just need to watch an inspiring, feel-good movie. Well, Miss Virginia on Netflix is just that. It stars Hollywood veteran Matthew Modine and Niles Fitch from This Is Us. Earlier today, our own Tori Shulman caught up with the two. That's today's Chatting with the Stars.
Hi guys, welcome to Daily Blast Live. Excited to talk about Miss Virginia, but first, Matthew, you're a legend with more than 100 movies under your belt. I need to ask about this recent masterpiece, the new Jonas Brothers music video.
What a man gotta say, what a man gotta pray, to be your last good night and your first good day.
How did that happen?
I know, it's so crazy. It was a phone call. They say, hey, you want to be in our music video? It was like, what? Are you kidding me? That song is so much fun. I had such a good time.
That's awesome. And let's talk about Miss Virginia.
Exactly.
This is a powerful movie. And Niles, you play an emotional character.
You did not earn this honestly, and you will never spend it.
Stop, Mom, please stop. Mom, what are you doing? Stop, please, please. I hate you, Mom.
Did working on the supremely tear-jerking show This Is Us, did that help prepare you to get there as an actor? Because that's not easy.
Not only that, but being able to work with Uzo. While it is difficult to sometimes get there, when you're doing it with such great actors, makes it 10 times easier.
It is. I once tweeted at Uzo, and she tweeted back, and I've never forgotten it, and she has. So that's okay.
That's a highlight right there.
Dude, it was amazing. Speaking of This Is Us, Niles, do you and Sterling K. Brown get together to figure out how to portray Randall so you're on the same page?
The entire first season, I didn't want to meet Mr. Sterling because I was afraid that I would try to fake be him too much. The reason it comes off like that is because I'm not trying to play him and he's not trying to play me, but we're trying to play Randall.
Matthew, you were a little older than Niles when Birdie and Vision Quest blew up your career. I wondered if there's anything you learned about fame during your time that you could pass on to Niles, or did you guys talk about that?
The thing about this business, it's like a roller coaster. You know, sometimes you do something and it's tremendously successful, and the next thing you do could tank. What my advice is that when you show up, do the best you can and hope for the best, because you never know when something's going to break and be like Stranger Things or This Is Us. The lesson is just do the best you can, like you do, Tori.
Right? It's just so true that you knew that. Thank you.
You show up. You're the best.
Dude, you're the best. We're having a moment. Speaking of Stranger Things, fans just got their first look at the new Stranger Things season. It looks like Hopper returns. We need to know about Dr. Brenner. Is there anything we can hear? Maybe he's returning. What do you think?
If I knew that, I'd be in Las Vegas playing roulette. You know, I'd be putting it all on a certain number if I could see the future.
I think they're Netflix hitman outside. I think they're Netflix hitman outside. If he says anything, they're gonna come in and get him.
Yeah, I
but
feel
those Duffer brothers, they're so secretive. I was just as surprised as everybody else that they revealed that Hopper's alive and looks like he's in Siberia building railroads.
Well, thank you guys for being actor and for taking the craft seriously. I trained as a theatrical actress and never made it, so I'm just living vicariously through you two.
It's never too late, Tori.
Never too late.
You guys are the best.
Thank you.
Sometimes it is. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by...
Hello, I'm...
Hey there, welcome back to Beauty Blast. I'm Jeray for the Slay, and today I want to give you guys some red light beauty tips to help you get ready in a flash. Now, today's tip of the day is coming for color correcting, guys. How to get rid of those pesky dark circles underneath your eyes. Now, this is a simple trick that a lot of makeup artists use, but some of you guys might want to dabble into a little bit more, okay? With color correcting, we can use color theory to help correct out dark or cancel out darkness underneath the eye and help to brighten the eye a little bit more than just your average concealer will do. Now, if you're from light to medium, you're gonna need more of a peach undertone. There's layers to this. Now, if you're from medium to deep in your skin tone, you're going to need more of a orange or red. Think of like more of a fire engine red when you're thinking of these colors too. These are going to help to balance out the colors based off of your skin tone in general. For me, I like to go for MAC Cosmetics color correcting sets. They're great for everyday use, and even you at home can use them too. They come with 6 different colors, so you have 4 colors that you can use through the year and 2 color correcting colors that you can use to brighten those under eyes. Now, my main one that you're gonna wanna go back to is that peachy color. So take a little bit on your ring finger if you may. Tap it off right onto your skin and make sure you're going to from your inner corner outwards. Now you're only using this for a tint. You don't want to cover your eye in red or peach for that matter. Just get a little bit to slightly go ahead and cover up that darkness and tap it out with your ring finger once again. Now if you have a pencil brush or a concealer brush at home, feel free to use those too, but you're only going to use a little bit once again. Now when you're all done with that, you'll go ahead and take your concealer right on top and blend it on out. You're ready to go, girlfriend. So let me know how this works for you and how brightened your under eyes get, and we'll see you next time for another Beauty Blast. Make sure to follow, by the way, on all social media platforms at Jure for the Slay. See you guys next time.
Steering a 3,300-pound car around a track isn't easy, and it's not always safe. But NASCAR drivers are much better protected behind the wheel than you may realize. Let's connect the dots. Tracks across the country are now using what's called soft walls, thick pieces of energy-absorbing foam put between existing walls. This helps absorb the impact of the crash. NASCAR took these safety measures after Dale Earnhardt's death in 2001 at the Daytona 500. And those racing suits you see drivers sport, they may look cool, but they also play a big role in safety. They're fire retardant, so they're specifically designed to stop flames from spreading. The driver's seat has also changed over the years. It's now carbon fiber instead of aluminum, so it too helps absorb the impact. NASCAR continues to evolve to make sure races are fun and safe for the drivers and fans. And that is Connecting the Dots.
Welcome back to DBL. Before we go, we have some sad news from Hollywood. Actress Jeanette DuBois has passed away at the age of 74 years old. She reportedly died in her sleep at her Southern California home. Jeanette was best known for her starring role on the iconic 70s show Good Times, but get this, she also co-wrote and sang a very familiar tune we all know and love.
Well, we're moving on now. We're moving on up to the east side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky.
I didn't know that.
She was also in I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, Charlie Angel's Full Throttle, next Friday, Basic Instinct. But thank you for leaving us that iconic theme song.
And her lovely Norman Lear, Good Times TV executive, also left a lovely tweet, but you guys can see that online.
Thoughts and prayers with her family. We'll be back tomorrow, everybody. Happy Tuesday.